My name is Mieke Muyllaert and I work as an ecologist. So an ecologist is a type of scientist that works in the area of biology. So I look at plants and habitats and wildlife. And habitats are places where plants and animals live. So the River Suir is a fantastic habitat that we have in South Tipperary. The River Suir is the biggest river we have in the county, and it comes into South Tipperary at Holy Cross and goes right down to Carrick-on-Suir. And we can think of the river as an ecological corridor, if you like, through the landscape of South Tipperary. It's a fantastic resource for all our wild plants and animals. In the river itself, we have the smallest, tiniest snail or little plant called duckweed, right up to the biggest salmon or otter that might be found along the side of the river. The river is an ecosystem, and that means that it has lots of different webs of life linking up together. So where trees hang over the river, the leaves fall into the river, and small insects and animals called invertebrates eat these leaves. And then salmon or trout eat the invertebrates, and that's a food chain. But there's lots of food chains in the whole river ecosystem, and they're all linked up into a big web of life. The River Suir is a lowland river where it flows through South Tipperary, so it's quite deep and relatively slow flowing through the county, and it has a lot of different species that we would know about, such as salmon, otter, trout, plants and trees. For example, willow and alder trees and ash trees would grow along the banks, and plants that people might know like yellow flag, the flag iris, would be quite visible in summer with its beautiful yellow flowers. Our rivers, including the Suir, are very old ecosystems that have evolved over time to have a special balance where everything works together, and things can upset that balance. So if we let pollution get into the river, or if we take too much water out of the river, we can upset the balance and cause things like algal blooms where the river goes green and other animals and plants can't live in it. Because the River Suir has important habitats and species like otter and salmon that are important in Europe and the world, the river from Thurles down to Waterford is actually designated as a special area of conservation, and this is under European legislation. And we also now have the Water Framework Directive, which is trying to help us to look after our water resources, so not just the rivers but aquifers and small streams and springs. All this legislation will hopefully help to keep our rivers clean for us to use and for nature. South Tipperary County Council is doing its bit to help people to learn how to look after nature, including the river. And as part of this, they're producing the first ever county biodiversity action plan. So biodiversity means the full range of biological diversity, in other words, nature and what we have in the county. And this plan will have not only an overview of what we have in the county and what kind of nature and wildlife we can find here, but also what we can do to help look after that.